guys, so I wanted to make this sit down video of some of the things that I wouldn't say hate, but I really don't love about living in Korea. And I've been living here for a little over 6 months now. It hasn't been a year yet, and I thought, why not make a fun little video talking about my experiences here and some things that I really don't like, but I wouldn't say hate because I don't hate it. Some things I would really dislike. I think hate is a very strong word to say, but I just chose 7 things that I don't love about living in South Korea. So if you're interested in moving to Korea, maybe watch this video so you don't come here expecting everything to be perfect. I think so many people have a conception that like it's gonna be perfect, and like every country has its downsides, and obviously Korea is not perfect and no country is perfect. But with that said, I also want to make a video of some of the things that I love about living in Korea. So I'm making this video, but then I'm also going to make a video of some of the things I love about living in Korea. And don't take this too seriously. I'm not bashing on the country. So yeah, let's get into it. So I wrote, if you see me looking down, it's because I wrote them down in my laptop. So number 1 is people being overly weird about being quiet in the elevator. I don't know how to word that, but I just have had some weird experiences being in the elevator. I just think that they have to be so quiet in the elevator, and I'm like, I'm not expecting people to scream, but why are people so weird about that? I don't know. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I actually had a really like bad experience about it. So if you don't know, I'm an English teacher in South Korea, and I am a Hagwon teacher. And when the kids were getting out of the school, the elevators get super packed, and they're usually loud because the kids are, you know, loud, and they're getting out of the Hagwon. So of course they're gonna be loud. And it was a big elevator, and it was me and a few of my coworkers and kids, and it was a little loud. It was loud, and it was the end of the day, so we were like, oh, how was your day? Oh, it was good, you know, blah blah blah, small talk, right? Then this older Korean lady turns around, and mind you, other people are speaking, like the kids are speaking, other Korean people are speaking, and she turns to us and very angrily it does shh, like with a really like mean face. Like I don't even know how to do that face she did, but she was like it seemed personal at that point, and we were all like we were so confused why she turned to us and she was like shh, like that. And then everybody else looked confused because we literally just said like a few English words, and she did that. And it's not the first time that a Korean older person acts like that. And I don't know, like at first I was like, it felt like a personal attack because she didn't do it to anybody else, right? So yeah, like obviously she probably was annoyed, and then she's like, oh, foreigners are gonna speak now, like let me do this so they can be quiet. I don't know, but we were not even being loud, and that was weird. Like if you do that in the US, like people would be like, what is wrong with you? But I think, which it might lead me to my next point. My second point is I don't love the hierarchy system here. And if you don't know, the Korean culture has a very hierarchy system. Like even when you speak to people, older people in Korean, there's a certain way you speak to them, a more formal way. And I'm not speaking about that. Like I think that's really cool that like you speak differently. Like it kind of goes with like Mexican culture too. Like you speak differently to like older people, and like you don't just call them a certain way that you would call your friend. But I'm speaking more in work form and the age, and I saw it like at first I wouldn't mind it. Like if I'm just hearing like, oh, there's a hierarchy system in Korea, like I would be like, okay, cool. But after working here in Korea, I can really see how that can affect negatively. I had like older Korean ladies working with me in the classroom, and I would just see how they were sometimes afraid to speak up because they're like, oh, I don't want to speak up, because even though at my old work maybe something was going wrong, like they didn't want to speak up because, oh, she's older. But it's like, no, you should speak up because something's going wrong and it's wrong. So I noticed that a lot of Korean people really follow that everywhere they go. Like in life, in work, in school, they won't really stand up for themselves because of the hierarchy system there is. And that also applies to like your boss or like someone, even me, like a head teacher or something. And I don't really like that. I think if something's going wrong, like you should be able to speak up, obviously in a respectful way. It's mainly the older generation, I notice. I think the younger generation, like Koreans, are kind of like speaking up more, and I think that's really good because I don't know, working here, I really notice how older people really follow that hierarchy system, and they kind of can get away with certain things just because of their age, or yeah, so I don't really vibe with that, to be honest. Next point, people, this is kind of like a funny one, and it's good and bad. It just depends. I go through phases where I really love it. Anyways, let me say it. People don't like wearing color here. I noticed that Koreans love their neutrals, and I love neutrals, don't get me wrong. Like, I think neutrals are great. But I had never seen, like, obviously I'll see like an older Korean, like an ajumma wearing like neon, obviously. But I'm from like Arizona, so we see patterns, florals, very vibrant colors. And here it's a lot of like neutrals, and the colors we get is mainly pastels. And I'm kind of like, in the beginning I was like, oh, I love that. I think fashion is neutrals and blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, I kind of miss color. I want some color. I want some fun. And I think people are branching out now with like, for example, the green that's really trending these days with like Bottega, their green. Like I see girls wearing that type of color, but it's very minimal. I think the fashion needs to get more fun because the black, the neutrals is kind of getting boring at this point, but whatever, it goes with everything. It's year round. I get it. But sometimes I don't love it. If you follow me on TikTok, you might have seen the TikTok I did. It was like a funny TikTok saying how like me being sad that like everybody wears neutrals and I want to wear color. You can wear whatever you want. If you're here, wear whatever you want. I'm not saying that you need to follow the trends, but you'll notice living here, Koreans follow trends and they will dress very similar, like very, very similar. And I don't think that's bad, but I don't think it's great because then you will stand out. And I think it's not bad to stand out, but if you're like me, I don't love standing out most of the time. It just depends how I'm feeling, but stand out. You do you, boo. I'm just saying that. Next one is, this is not always 100%, but older people can sometimes be kind of rude and push you. And I've been on the subway many times and like I'll get pushed and then I look and it's literally by an older lady or an older man, and I think that's so rude. Like, I don't know, like I get it, like they're in a hurry, but I live in Busan. It's not even Seoul. It's not even that packed. I mean, it's packed, but not like in Seoul. And I got in caught up, but like usually older Korean people, and they can be quite rude. Like they don't care, and I think they think that they can act like that because of their age, and I don't like that. Like I've seen some really nice ajumas, but some of them can be really mean and they think they are entitled to a lot of things, like just pushing you. And like I'm like, okay, like you didn't gotta push me like that. It's whatever, I brushed it off, but I don't like that. Like, I know you're older, but you don't gotta push me. So this one's kind of funny and stupid, but whatever. So there's a law. I think, I don't know if it's a law, but don't quote me on this. But if you order to go, you must go, okay? Like, you cannot get a to-go cup and stay at Starbucks. Mainly Starbucks, I have those experiences. So little story time, I was at Starbucks. There was a Starbucks at my workplace where I worked in the same building. So I was going there every day in my break, and I would usually get a to-go cup because I'm literally gonna leave in like 10 minutes. So I would always get the to-go cup and it was fine. And then randomly one day, the worker comes up to me and she's like, you need to go if you have a to-go cup. And I was like, oh, but I do this every day. Like, I'm literally here every day. Like, don't you remember me, girl? And turns out that like now to reduce waste and all of that, like if you order to go, you must go. And to me in the moment, I was like, well, this is so stupid because I'm literally gonna go in like 10 seconds. So I didn't want to be at my work. I wanted, if you work at Hot One, like you just know some or not, like even if you don't work at a Hot One, like you just sometimes don't want to be at your work. So I would just go to Starbucks and like, even though I was gonna leave in like 30 minutes, I was like, well, might as well get the to-go cup if I'm gonna get it. Because she's like, when you're sitting here, you'll need the normal cup, like an actual cup they'll give you, and then when you leave, you can ask us for a to-go cup and we'll give it to you. In my mind, I thought that was so stupid because I'm like, I'm literally gonna leave, but okay, whatever. So I understand the law and it kind of pushes you to bring your own cup, because if you bring your own cup, you could literally stay, leave, whatever, who cares? So it's kind of like to push you to bring your own cup. And that's what I started doing. I started bringing my own coffee cup and I could leave and stay and do whatever I want. So it's usually to reduce, the main purpose is to reduce plastic waste. But yeah, if you order to go, you must go. Don't go, don't be like me. I didn't know. I think it changed when I was here. So yeah, I literally was kicked out of Starbucks. But anyways. Next point is, this is another funny and stupid one. It's my American self. I think it's an American thing. The lack of sauce and drink options. I think it's mainly not only American thing, because I'm Mexican and we do have sauce and drink options in Mexico. But in the US, we do have a lot more. But the lack of sauce and drink options, girl, when I tell you, when I go to like McDonald's and they give me one ketchup, I'm just like, what am I gonna do with one ketchup? Like, and then I gotta pay for the ranch. I don't even think they have ranch at McDonald's. Like, I want one sauce and I gotta pay. When I ask for a tissue, they give me like one tissue or two tissues and I'm like, I need more. And it has helped me to be less wasteful, but there's not much sauce options. Buffalo sauce, that don't exist here. Ranch, really hard to find. All that's fun Polynesian sauce. I think that's a Chick-fil-A thing. What is the other one? Like barbecue sauce. That's not a thing here. It's like ketchup or some sauce if you buy it at the place. But then the drink options is usually Coke, Sprite, which is not really Sprite, it's called cider, but it's like Sprite, and sometimes they have Fanta, which is like the orange one, and then water. So I always end up drinking water, but I'm like, no tea, no nothing. Like, I want tea. I know, it's stupid, and it's me being like, oh my god, there's no sauce. Like, I'm not complaining, I'm just telling you. I'm just warning you. But this is not only in Korea. This could be anywhere you go, but yeah, they're very not generous when they give you that ketchup and those tissues. I'll be like, can I have a tissue? And then they give me like one. And I'm like, and it's like this tiny. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But the last one is, so many subjects can be taboo here. And I'm mainly referring to some controversial subjects. For example, talking about sex, talking about for example, sex education or women's rights, and like just not little things, big things like that. I noticed that Koreans are not very open to those, and I understand it's because of the culture, and that Korea is really evolving, and I really seen that. But I just noticed that it can be, there's a lot of lack of freedom, like to express yourself. Okay, this one is the one that I really dislike. So it's illegal here to write like a real bad review of a certain place. So there's gonna be like 8 things I don't like about, because yeah, I just remembered it. So, you know, in the US, you can write a review. Let's say the server was really rude to you, and like I'll write The server was so rude. The food tasted horrible. It tasted rotten. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just being mean about it. But I can say it because it's my opinion and it's the truth and it's what happened. And maybe it's not true. Well, in Korea, you can't do that. They can sue you for defamation. And there's no freedom of speech. Like, I can't just say, like, I can't make a video exposing my work. For example, my past work, my hagwon, saying their name and stuff. Like, I could get sued for that. So that's what I don't love, the freedom of expression like that, or freedom of speech. And that can go with like whatever. Like, for example, I think one time I was talking with my friend and I'm like, what if, like, I think we were talking about the purge, or like if the purge were happening in Korea, and I said I'm gonna go online and start writing bad reviews. That's what I would do. Anyways, so stupid, and I'm so sorry, like, if you're watching this and you're like, oh my god, she's so stupid. But if you live here, you can understand. So I'm not the only one, and I'm not saying I hate the country. Don't come for me. I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, she's hating on the country or whatever. I'm literally not. I'm gonna make a video of the things I love about living in Korea, because the pros outweigh the cons a lot of the times. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this fun little video. I wanted to make this because I was like, okay, this is fun. This is like my experience living here. So if you really enjoy videos like this, I can make more sit-down videos. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one.